Servus Jungs, was geht? Da ich öfters mal Kommentare lese von Leuten, die kein Englisch können und sich wünschen, dass viele meiner Videos auch auf Deutsch sind und ich ja logischerweise selbst ein Deutscher bin, bin ich zu dem Entschluss gekommen, dass ich das Video hier übersetzen werde, und zwar mit Untertiteln. In dem Video geht es darum, dass The Division Game am Streamen war, und dann kommt Terry Spires dazu. Das ist ein Entwickler bei Redstorm, und der beantwortet dann halt Fragen im Chat quasi. Und ich habe das Ganze dann halt übersetzt mit Untertiteln und so weiter. Und ich muss sagen, es hat wirklich extrem lange gedauert, das alles so hinzubekommen. Und es steckt, wie gesagt, viel Arbeit hier drin. Also falls ihr mir einen Gefallen machen wollt, dann teilt das Video mit euren Kollegen und abonniert mich, falls ihr neu seid und euch der Division-Content gefällt. Auf jeden Fall danke fürs Zuschauen, bis dann.
I know not everybody liked 1.8.3. I'm a big boy.
Oh, we can talk about that too if you want to.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, talk about anything.
How-
That's cool.
I wanted to ask, and some of the guys in chat have been asking too about the meta right now. How do you feel about it? Good, bad? Is it in a good place?
No, I don't think it's in a good place. And if I could do 1.8.4 right now, I would, absolutely. I think, 1.8.3 was on the table for one reason, right? And that's because the running in place bug.
Yeah.
Right? That was the, okay, all stop. We made a mistake. We had this bug reported a long time ago, and we thought it was nothing, when in fact it was something. So we made a mistake. And the people that made the mistake were fired, so good for them. No, they weren't, I'm just kidding. They weren't fired. They had a stern talking to.
Coming in with your business suit on, dude.
Yeah. And so we had to fix it. Obviously, we had to fix it. We fixed the running in place bug, as far as I know, as far as our QC is concerned. Mm-hmm. And that's why we did 1.8.3. And because we had it cracked open and we had a little time, we thought we'd take a look at, one little bit of a change to help with the Striker, and one little bit of a change to help with Cronus Max and the Showstopper, right? And just kind of wrap things up a little bit. And yeah, I didn't like how Support Station was being used. That is absolutely correct. Mm-hmm. I made that decision, which quite frankly, folks, is in my right to make that decision, despite what the players really appreciate or how they've been using it. It's a shared experience, and we're trying to create an experience, and it might be different than the experience that has been in place for some time. Yeah. And maybe we're molding an experience for what's to come in the future. Grand plans and all that business. Anyhow, the idea wasn't to fix the meta with 1.8.3. The idea wasn't to finally create PvP balance. That wasn't the intent. We didn't have the time for that. It would take, 6 months and PTSs and, all kinds of, probably an ETF and a serious investment, because we have a complicated game. You guys all know that. Our game is complicated. So, to say that we would fix the meta with, our Striker adjustment and our Showstopper tweak and our Support Station, change. Yeah. That's
not
just
feasible.
not the case.
Yeah.
So, sure, there's definitely meta problems. I'm not happy. And you know what? I hear through the grapevine that some players aren't happy too. And I respect that. And you guys know how I feel about communication. As long as it's constructive, I'm all for it. I don't have a problem with somebody saying, hey, I'm not happy. Or I think they made a mistake. I'm fine with those words also. Chat. So let's see. With the DZ and TD2, have you guys thought about separating the player base into two different DZs? One for solo, duo size groups, and one for trios and squads. Solo players are a significant disadvantage when encountering squads. However, I understand it's a hard decision because we have thought about that. Of course, matchmaking is something that's very important for us in the Dark Zone. We've learned a lot from the first game. About the Dark Zone, and so we're applying a lot of that information. And also, we kind of want to stay on the cutting edge. I really think the Dark Zone was on the cutting edge. Dude, you're that guy. It was a unique experience, and we want to recreate sort of that uniqueness. But you also have to remember, though, the Dark Zone is supposed to be a place with no rules. So, while I understand, hey, maybe matchmaking is the kind of rules we can have, let's also bear in mind that you go in with the knowledge that it's not fair. You make your own fairness, right? And that happens to be Well, if you have more people, you're going to have an advantage, plain and simple. I'm not saying you're not correct. Solo players are at a strong disadvantage, and I realize a lot of players these days do solo, and I totally get it. All right, another question. Terry, 8-man raids from Suspicious Pixel. Will it have a good clan integration system inspired from games like Destiny 2 and Warframe? I can't give you the exact details, Pixel, but I can say that clans are a feature and raids are a feature, and I think it would be very smart to integrate those as much as possible. Any comments on the engine optimizations tackling issues from Div 1 going into Div 2? Bicycle of Death! I didn't crack the mic, did I?
I didn't hear a thing.
Okay. We have definitely optimized, Bike. That's all I can say, baby. Terry, are you guys going to tweak the Nomad and Predator's Mark meta? I would like to. That's what I would like to. Rip my ears. Buzz, I'm sorry. Terry, how will you solve the desync problem in Div 2? I will not solve it. However, my engineers will. We have quite many good plans for those things, for Division 2, believe me. Now, how do I interpret balance versus nerf? For example, I think the support station, let's see, how would I describe that? The change we made to the support station, that was a nerf. We nerfed that. Like, the functionality stayed the same. We altered the functionality, we altered the timing of it, so it's not as effective as it was instantly. That was a straight up nerf. As it relates to balance, I think we balanced. I shouldn't say we balanced. We were balancing the striker set. We adjusted some of the values on the heal to try and bring the power more in line with other gear sets, because it was not. It was out of balance. It's a tough thing, man. It's a good question.
No, it is. That is a really tough spot.
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, if you've watched any of the footage, you can see that the Division 2 is pretty lethal. And, one of the big rubs on the first game was how incredibly spongy it was. And let's be frank, we've played into those hands, with stamina builds and stuff like that. Time to kill. I would say time to kill is high right now in Division. It takes a long time to kill someone. So, time to kill in the sequel to this video game will be faster. And I can't say that it was the only reason we did that, but it was definitely one of the reasons. It's kind of like, why did we implement Rogue 2.0? Well, to see how people would respond, to see what the community thought, to see how it was embraced, to see what would happen with the numbers, because we knew we were making a second game. Terry, will chicken dance movement in PvP be less effective? Yep, it will be less effective in Division 2. I'm not pleased with how things are right now, and there's a lot of agreement between myself and a lot of the community members. But that doesn't mean we can fix it right now. That needs approval, and that's just the politics of the whole thing, to be quite frank.
If you're going to break it down.
If I'm going to break it down, yeah. So, yep, there's a meta issue right now. I'm not happy.
Noch ein kurzes Schlusswort. Also man kann ganz klar sehen, dass Terry Spires nicht wirklich glücklich ist, wie das Spiel im Moment so läuft und was die aktuelle Meta ist. Aber er sagt auch ganz deutlich, dass er daran eigentlich nichts ändern kann, weil die Division 2 in den Startlöchern steht und das würde viel zu lange dauern, diese ganzen Fehler bzw. die Balance-Probleme in der Division 1 zu beheben. Und das hört sich für mich so an, als ob das quasi so ein Schlussstrich wäre bei Division 1. So, sie sagen jetzt quasi, wir können das ganze Zeugs nicht balancen, weil es viel zu lange dauert. Und Division 2 steht schon vor der Tür, deswegen wird es wahrscheinlich auch nicht mehr gebalanced werden im Endeffekt. Vielleicht irre ich mich, vielleicht tun sie noch irgendwie ein Entwicklerteam anheuern, was der Division 1 bisschen balancen tut. Falls nicht, dann müssen wir auf jeden Fall hoffen, dass der Division 2 richtig gut wird. Und ja, falls ihr gerne eure Meinung in die Kommentare postet. Ich werde versuchen, auf jeden Kommentar zu antworten. Und ihr könnt ja auch ein bisschen eine Diskussion am Laufen halten, unten in den Kommentaren, wie gesagt. Und jetzt verabschiede ich mich erstmal. Vielen Dank fürs Schauen und haut rein. From the trenches I return again to drag you through the crowd. Fear me, hear me whisper in the night. Too late, bitch, I got you in my sight. So apocalyptic, my flow sadistic. Wanna stop dark thoughts, been so addicted. Hearing voices telling me to kill them all. Came right back, now I'm ready to brawl. Watching them